From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.
One ball, corner pocket.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! What is up, everybody? It is Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill in Tallahassee, Florida. Coming up on today's show, practice observations from the final practice before the big spring showcase. And Michael Langston talking a little recruiting. Florida State gets themselves a 4-star wideout. Wake Up Warchant is presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill in Tallahassee, Florida. Daily lunch specials from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Monday through Friday for only $8.99. On Friday, the chicken strip basket. Give it a shot. Try it out. It's good stuff. Hang around all day at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill because at 4 o'clock, there'll be a live edition of Seminole Headlines. Corey, Ira, Jeff, not in that order their significance. Maybe to some.
Yeah,
maybe
it
to
is.
some. Maybe to some. They'll be going at it on the deck. Yeah. Great weather, open air, breathing in everybody. Come hang out, 4 p.m., live edition of Seminole Headlines at the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. And then Saturday before the game, for the showcase, come hang out with us at the Hotel Indigo in College Town. Live pregame show with Jeff Cameron and Tom Lang from 1 to 3 o'clock. Doors open at 12:30. There will be a cash bar, a buffet that you can get in on with some ducats you got to throw down. But it's worth it. It's good. Good burger. Solid burger, if that's what they have on the menu. And then there will be a post-game show 10 to 15 minutes after the spring showcase with Gene Williams and Tom Lang. So all different kinds of combinations were thrown at you from the bullpen, like we're Chuck Ristano. We're just piecing it together. But we're excelling. We're excelling.
I was going to say, our bullpen
Thriving.
is a lot better than his.
Thriving. We are thriving. Also, just for this weekend, a new promo going on over at warchant.com. $10 for 4 months of full premium access, everybody. $10, 4 months. Just go to the website, warchant.com. It's right there on the front page. Might be the last best promo that we run, so take advantage of it. Corey, how are you, man?
I'm good. You know, as we record this, it's late Thursday, or it's Thursday night, not too late. But Stephanie is in Tampa with her daughter and some friends for Taylor Swift. She was very, very excited. She texted me a lot, but right now it's in the middle of the show, so not getting a lot of texts. But she was very, very excited about the show and getting to see her daughter's reaction when the whole thing went down. So, and I was thinking, like, it is. I mean, this isn't, obviously this isn't Wake Up Taylor, but like
Please, go on.
3 straight shows where you sell out, a 70,000, 80,000 seat stadium?
She's doing 3 shows in Tampa at Ray J?
Yeah. Yep.
My goodness.
And I think she's doing 3 shows in Atlanta, and they sell out instantaneously. And I was trying to think in our lifetimes, and I know I'm a little older than you, so maybe this doesn't resonate with you, but I think Michael Jackson, like Thriller, is the only thing I can remember in my lifetime that approached something like this.
What about the Wheels of Steel tour with Rolling Stones back in the late 80s? I think that was their first one back in the okay. Maybe.
No, I mean, look, I've never seen the Stones. I would go see them in a heartbeat, and Jeff brought that up on headlines. Like, yeah, they would still sell out a stadium, and probably, but they wouldn't sell it out 3 nights in a row in like 12 minutes. Yeah, and they wouldn't lead the news. Like I'm sure Taylor Swift did in Tampa, and she would if she was here in Tallahassee. I'd like to see WCTV out there at Doak getting ready for a live shot. Ryan Kelly with a live shot before Taylor takes the stage. But we don't get concerts like that here, even though we have a 75,000 seat stadium that's never ever used for concerts except for Belle Biv DeVoe, who came the one year, Salt and Peppa and Vanilla Ice, and my man Rob Bass. That's about it. So hopefully we can use that stadium for some real concerts here. But anyway, back to football.
Before we get to football real quick, it's going to be a little bit of an abbreviated show, so let's go ahead and give props to our good friends over at Vitamin Energy. VitaminEnergy.com. Promo code is WarChampBOGO. Shout out to our guy Dave. He was having problems with his promo code. We let the folks at Vitamin Energy know. They got it back online and kicking. He ordered like 8 boxes of stuff, but only had to pay for 4 because he used the promo code WarChampBOGO, and he bought 1 and got 1 free. So he bought 8, only had to pay for 4. You folks should do that too. Corey, what are we going to do today? Are we drinking the Vitamin Energy Mood or the Focus? Should we do the Mood so we're like in good spirits despite the fact that we're not good golfers at this upcoming charity golf tournament? Or should we take the Focus so we're dialed in and maybe shave a stroke or 2 off the score for the team?
I think to help Keith, we need – and I also think focus helps with putting, which is really the only thing I could even come close to contributing is maybe a wedge shot here or there or putting. So I need focus for that because you're not going to use a single shot off the tee for me or anything like, I don't know, more than 120 yards out. So I need to be good around the green. So Daddy's going to roll with the focus today and hopefully focus on Keith making a lot of really good shots because that's our only real chance, isn't it?
Yeah, Keith Cottrell of 99 championship fame. He's a great ball striker. I mean, dude, it just sounds so pure. You can hear the velocity just rushing off the club head. It's a treat. I can't wait.
6'3", like chiseled out of granite.
Yeah.
Just not kind of what you'd think out of a punter, but he is. He was also a very good high school quarterback. Like he's a real athlete. He's not just a punter. He was a real football player. So we need, it's good that we have somebody that's won championships before, which is probably good for us.
Yeah, you need one of those
maybe rising tide. He didn't help y'all last year much, but maybe me stepping in for Stephanie, maybe somehow that will be a benefit. I don't know how.
7 hours of clean, functional energy with no crash later. Tastes great. It's berry flavored. It helps boost memory and cognitive brain power. So we're in on it. You folks join in as well. VitaminEnergy.com, promo code WARCHANT, BOGO, B-O-G-O. All right, now to the football. Sorry, everybody. That was like a Bill Simmons-esque show there. We went 6 minutes before we actually got to the meat and bones or the soup and nuts and bolts of the program. Let's just go to observations, Corey. You were tracking 7-on-7. I was trying to be a poor man's Tom Lang and kind of keep some look-sees at the offensive line. Interesting combination of the guys they were running out there. I thought they held up pretty well overall towards the end of practice when they went to the 11-on-11 stuff. They don't do a lot of, there's not a lot of like hold on to the ball for 3 seconds. There's a lot of quick decision-making back there, which is good. And the few occasions where they do want time to have some stuff developed, it was there in certain segments, certain configurations, but there was also lots of good standout performances. I thought Dennis Briggs had a really good day. He and Jared Verse teamed up for some pressures where they just straight up bull rushed their side of the line that they were attacking. Darrell Jackson also took advantage of a very favorable matchup with who was at center. So some of that stuff was kind of some of the familiar usual suspects were creating some chaos. But on the whole, I thought the offensive line did pretty well. Shout out to Tate Rodemaker, maybe the MVP of the day, because he shut it down strong, I felt like, when they went to the 11-on-11 stuff. Him and Kentron hooked up on that deep touchdown, and then Jakai as well, right? Was that Tate as well?
No, yes, that was at the beginning of practice, and then but they didn't call that a touchdown with Kentron. They whistled it dead at like the 20, but then he completed a couple more passes and then found Morlock in the end zone. That one-handed catch against Omar Graham. Really good throw, good ball placement, and a really nice catch by Morlock, who had a couple nice catches on the day. Yeah, I mean, I thought it was Tate's best day, which was good to see. I have not been, and again, I am not a quarterback guru. He might be awesome this spring. I have not thought he's been awesome this spring. I thought he was better last spring, quite honestly. I thought this was one of his best days. He made good throws. He made strong throws, middle of the field. He's always going to take his shots deep. You know that out of 18. He's going to look deep. He's just got that in him. That's how he plays the game. And it was good that he hit Jakai for a long one. He hit Kentron for a long one. So I thought that was by far his best performance. And I thought Jordan was, just Jordan. That first series of the practice, he hits 4 straight completions, 2 to Jaheim Bell for about 40 yards combined. One, just there was nothing Greedy Vance could do. Like he's in good position. It's a back shoulder to a big kid that makes a catch on the sideline. It was a really good throw and a really nice adjustment by a dude that's just not. He's a different type of tight end. So I thought those two guys were good at quarterback. Jordan always is, and I thought Tate, again, that was just good to see, and I hope he can carry it over into Saturday because you do need a confident and competent backup quarterback. You just do. I mean, we all hope that Jordan Travis plays 14 games and is unscathed and unhurt, but, I mean, you got to feel like there might be a play here or there or a series here or there, even if his helmet comes off, something, where you're going to need 18 to do something, and I thought today was a good step for him in this spring to get where, I was kind of hoping he'd take a bigger leap, but again, that's me, journalist / podcaster. That's my opinion. That doesn't mean he hasn't been really good this spring. I just haven't And I don't know if you agree with me, Aslan. I haven't, and I shouldn't even say as good as he was last spring, as good as he was last August. I think it's August when I was like, okay, Tate, all right. Okay, he was good in August. He had multiple really good days. He had a couple of days where he was the better quarterback. I don't know if he's had any of those days this spring, but that's mainly because 13 is so good. But I thought Thursday, that was a very good final practice to go into the spring game on for him.
Yeah, I feel like he hasn't stacked days on top of each other, which has kind of been a bummer. But we've seen like flashes. Like, oh, he had a good Tuesday, and then 2 Thursdays later, it's like, oh, he had another good day. But kind of in between that was left a little bit to be desired. So yeah, I do hope that does carry into the showcase on Saturday. But I don't know. I just kind of think he's not done growing, but I think we have a kind of a good idea of where he is right now.
Yeah,
playing behind Jordan, which needs to see a little bit more consistency out of him. But listen, man, when they gave him some better weapons, if you will, in certain situations on Thursday, I think that also was part of the reason why we saw better play out of him too. So we need to kind of factor that in sometimes maybe with our grading of him, right? Because he's not rolling out there with the guys that Jordan gets to. Not that Jordan is a product of all these awesome guys around, but because Jordan's a straw that stirs a drink. But he does have a little bit of a better supporting cast at times at practice than Tate and the rest of the guys.
They do not have Jordan ever practice. Like other guys will practice with, sometimes they'll get a shot with the quote unquote ones or starters, but they never move Jordan down to work with the threes. That he only goes into the game when he's got his guys around him, if that makes any sense. He only goes into a practice setting where he's got the guys that'll the
team,
best,
like 11 on 11. He will, yeah.
That's him. But Tate does alternate a lot. Jordan pretty much works with the same group of guys. Tate does alternate a lot with the guys blocking in front of him and the guys he's throwing to. So that's a fair point. And then I thought again, I wasn't in love with the way A.J. Duffy performed on Thursday. He had an interception where he overthrew Toafili pretty bad. It was the last I think it was the last pass of the day. He overthrew Toafili. I couldn't tell if Toafili tipped it or not, but our man, the walk-on DB, Christian White, picked it off. And that guy makes plays, man. He does. Dare I say, Aslan, and I know they're covering different types of guys a lot of the times, Christian White's had a better spring than Fentrell Cypress. And it's not all that close. Fentrell Cypress is the one that gave up the 60-yard pass to Portier that Rodemaker threw on that last. And so to give the context,
he had a nice PBU in one-on-ones I saw in the early part of practice on Thursday. I thought Fentrell, I'll throw him a bone. I was a little critical of him early on, but no, you're right. Yeah, I mean he has not shown you to be like an all-conference defensive
I have
back.
seen 37 make more plays on the ball, PBUs, good coverage, almost interceptions than I have 23. That's all. Again, 23 has done it. Cypress is, I shouldn't say his number. Y'all have never seen him. Cypress has done it at this level. He might end up being awesome. It has not been a spectacular spring by any means. And what bothered me the most on Thursday was, and I don't know, man, he might have been confused or he thought the play was dead. But so to give you the context, the last period of the day, they gave the offense the ball at their own 15 with like 1:07 left. And it was like, go try to score. With a minute, I don't know if they have 1 timeout or 3 timeouts or 0 timeouts. I'm not sure, but it's 1:07 on the clock. And I think it was the first play is when Rodemaker launches the 60-yard pass to Portier that's over Cypress. And it would have been a 45-yard pass if Cypress had touched Portier after he caught it, but he just stopped running. Like Portier caught it. It was a really good throw. Like actually Cypress had pretty good coverage. It wasn't like he was blown past. He was maybe a step behind, and Rodemaker just dropped it in there perfectly. And then Cypress just stopped running, which I just don't like seeing that. But
Duke
he might have been confused.
Duke Cooper came screaming across the other side of the field, but he didn't catch him, though.
Yeah, and so, but I think they gave credit for getting close to him or something. I don't know, because they put the ball at the 20 and they didn't celebrate the long touchdown.
Well, because it was just too fast. To your point, like that was a scenario situation where it's like, we got 1:07 left. We got to go score the might have been a little too easy. Mike does that a lot. Where
that's true.
He'll stop it dead. He does that in team a lot too. I mean, Jordan pushed the ball down the field in the 2-minute stuff they ran at the beginning of practice. Yeah. But he's like, no, spot the 20. I want to get a field goal kick in here. But continue.
So he makes that throw, and I don't know if Cypress thinks he touched him or thinks he heard a whistle or thought he dropped it or stepped out of bounds, but he literally just stops on the play, just doesn't even chase him. And it was a really bad. It was so out of place because of how this team practices. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you don't see that ever happen. You don't see a guy just come up and stop trying. And again, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. He might have been completely confused or thought he heard a whistle or thought the play was over. It just looked not great. But when you see him just stop as Portier and Duke Cooper is still running, his defensive teammates are still running, he kind of stopped. He just stopped on the play. So they hit that, and then they hit Morlock for the touchdown a couple plays later. And then they did the exact same drive with Duffy, with different players, but Duffy. They didn't do one of these with Jordan, because I think they gave Jordan and Brock Glenn the one to start practice. So they gave Rodemaker and Duffy the one to end practice. So Duffy's first pass is like a 12-yarder to Ja'Kai. His second one is almost intercepted on a pass to Hakeem. And then after Rodney Hill drops what was probably Duffy's best throw of the day, like a really nice wheel route down the left sideline that just tipped off his hands. It was really well thrown. The very next pass is the one that Christian White intercepts. And he also had a pass in 7-on-7 that DeMarco Ward stepped in front of and would have had a pick six if he hadn't dropped the ball. It's just I'm still seeing a little too much of that. And then as those words are coming out of my mouth, I hear them coming out of my mouth, I also have to counter and say, yeah, man, he's a redshirt freshman. Yeah. He's still a teenager, I think. Like, give him time, Clark. But it was not a great day for A.J. Duffy, I didn't think. Glenn was normal, and then I thought Rodemaker and Travis were very good on the whole.
Well said. Well said.
All right, good.
By the way, Christian White's Twitter handle apparently is Smoke the Goat. He goes by Christian Smoke White. So I don't think it's like Smoke the Goat. Like I'm the goat.
What does that mean?
I don't think it's like a verb. I think it's like I'm the goat. Like bah.
Oh, okay. It's not like he's smoking something.
Right. Correct.
Okay,
he just goes by.
right.
So I like that. I like him even more now. Now his nickname is Smoke apparently. So
I like my walk-ons called themselves goats.
Right.
I like
smoke.
it, man.
And saying they want the smoke. There you go.
All right, man. I like that. I'm telling you, that's not a shot. I'm sure that sounds like an enormous shot at Fentrell Cypress. I would say that about other cornerbacks on the team too. Like Christian White, for real, and again, he's not going up against Johnny Wilson all the time. We got it. But he is really, every time it's like 37, man. There he goes, making another play. 37, making another play. It's he might. I mean, I doubt he's going to work himself into the rotation, but he, at the very worst, he's a really good scout team / second / third team cornerback for these receivers to have to go up against.
Major League Baseball finally back in full swing. MyBookie is going to be your one-stop shop for all your betting needs. With a wide range of betting options, including money lines, run lines, totals, futures, MyBookie gives you plenty of ways to bet on your favorite teams and players. Also, you can take advantage of the brand new MyBookie Money Bag, which gives you the chance to secure a bet on your favorite team or player at insanely boosted odds. Sign up today at MyBookie and use the promo code WARCHANT to secure a first deposit bonus of up to $1,000. It's simple. Deposit $200. You can play with $300 instantly by using the promo code WARCHANT. So if you're a baseball fan looking to add even more excitement to the new season, look no further than MyBookie. Sign up now. Get ready to experience the thrill of baseball betting like never before. And put maybe 50 down on the Noles. 21-1. Dream the dream, everybody. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. And also, hang out in the online casino at mybookie.ag. Again, using the promo code WARCHANT. Let's twist it back to the quarterback position, Corey. We were able to speak to all 4 full-time offensive assistant coaches after practice on Thursday. We'll get to do the same on Monday with the defensive assistant. So we'll get to speak to Coach Pat Surtain again. I know we won't speak to Coach Papuchis, but we'll speak to Odell and Randy Shannon. So that'll be cool. Join us for that. You spoke to Tony Tokarz. I listened to a little bit of the interview, and he was talking about how he likes to show the guys footage, video of Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball away. I guess to live to fight another day. What else did he say that might have caught your ear that's a little bit more interesting than that?
He said, he was asked a lot about Brock Glenn. Like, it was funny. I asked him about A.J. Duffy because if you heard me 3 minutes ago, you might think I might have some questions about to the QB coach about A.J. Duffy. So go watch that interview. Go watch the interview and his answers. But he was not asked about Tate at all, really, because it's just like Tate. He was asked about Jordan a good bit, and he was asked about Brock Glenn a lot. And And because, Jordan's the guy you want to know how much he can improve. What has he gotten better at? And he did say he's gotten better at certain things. They know he's a great athlete, but that he still is developing as a passer. Not that he's a bad passer, but he's still even got a little room to develop there. And he just thinks he's played at an exceptional level all spring. I don't disagree with that at all. He's built on what he did to end last season. And he didn't say it, but you can clearly tell that he knows he's got a great one in the room. And then when it comes to Brock Glenn, I thought the word he used at least 2 times and maybe 3 times was moxie, which is a great word.
It is.
It's a great word. It really is. But because I brought up he didn't even look the things I've said on this show. He doesn't look overwhelmed, even though his head is swimming. He looks composed and he looks like he fits in, even though he should be a senior in high school. He did not look overwhelmed at all. And he goes, yeah, it goes back to his moxie. He knows he belongs out here, and he asks the right questions. He soaks everything up. He's obviously talented, but he said he kind of has that it factor, which is, that's something. That's something to pay attention to. Everybody that talks about athletes for a living knows kind of what that means, even though it's almost undefinable. When you've done it as long as I've done it, and I know I'm much older than Tony Tokarz, but you don't say he has that it factor lightly, or at least you shouldn't.
Not this early, right? Jeez.
No, exactly right, because that is reserved for guys.
Jordan Travis.
Correct. Essentially, yeah, but not 2019 Jordan Travis.
Yeah.
2023 Jordan Travis, he has that it factor. To say that as a guy that's a true freshman, and it's that thing where you can't define it. But again, it was something I noticed very early on, that it just looks like he belongs. He's not overwhelmed. He's not. He's not like, wow, isn't this something? I'm a college. He's like it's what he was destined to be. He just handles it like this is normal. I'm a college quarterback, and I'm supposed to be this comfortable this early, and I'm still getting better, and I'm asking all these questions. So anyway, he had some really insightful stuff, much more insightful than that, about Brock Glenn. And just his adjustment and how he's learning from everyone. He said Jordan's being a really good coach. And he said the thing about Jordan as he's coaching these guys is it keeps him on his toes too, or it keeps him on point, because you can't tell A.J. Duffy, hey, man, you're supposed to do this, and then not do that when it's your turn. So trying to be an extra coach, which is what Jordan's tried to do during the spring a little bit, I do think that's kept him on point, because, yeah, if you're gonna coach it, if you're gonna preach it, you got to – what would be the finish?
Practice what you preach.
Yeah, you got to practice it. Yeah. So that I thought that was all interesting. I did ask him who the second best athlete in the room was, and he said himself. And then after that, he's like, and he was joking though. He did say look, man, they're all athletic guys. He's like, Tate's out here doing backflips. Yeah. Brock Glenn can run. He's an athletic guy. And he kind of fit right in tour of duty right away and was running with those guys. And then he goes, AJ's done a great job of getting himself in shape. You guys have seen that, and he's gotten bigger and faster. So yeah, they are. It's a pretty athletic group on top of hopefully being a really talented group other than 13.
Yeah, I liked what you had to relay to us about what Tokarz said about Jordan, because I spoke to Chris Thompson with the other assembled media and. Asked him a lot about tight ends, obviously. We'll get to some of that maybe here in a minute or two. But, just was like, hey, man, what can you tell us, or what is there left to say really about Jordan? And he was just talking about, the leadership aspect from him right now, about, he kept to himself largely, the first few years they got here onto campus. He was so kind of worried about what he had to do, so focused on his job. But now he's seeing him, and it's not just coaching the quarterbacks, Corey. It's him pointing out to the tight end, no, man, you're supposed to be in line on this player. Actually, no, you're supposed to be over there in the slot, pointing to those guys, and just the amount of confidence that you have to be in that position. And it all kind of makes sense, right? For a guy that's been through a couple coaching staffs, wasn't able to go through a full preseason in 2020. 2021, you bring in a guy to compete for the job, and now, with all this kind of out of the way, all the noise gone, the mechanism being cleared, it just kind of makes me wonder, what is left to possibly untap with Jordan now that he's shown this kind of growth and leadership and he's got this assertiveness to him. And then asking him even further about the 3-back position here, Corey, about now they got all these guys. He's impressed with Jaheim's athleticism and his physicality, and Morlock's a guy that's got to kind of getting used to playing against larger guys that are taking up more space out there in the field and the passing lanes. But I was like, hey man, like when you guys are fully realized at this position, which I kind of think you guys are, what does this position do for this offense? And like go listen to the answer. I think Corey might even have to write something off of it because I spoke about it in front of Ira. So sorry, Corey, you might have to write about something this weekend. But it's just like, listen, just to dumb it down for people like me, he's like, we'll roll 2 tight ends out there. He's like, the opposing team, their defensive coordinator will see that, and they've got a call sheet on their list about this is what we want to do when they're in 12 personnel, when they got 2 tight ends. He's like, but the problem is, he's like, our guys can block, and they also can function as pass catchers. So when you have that, we're keeping them on their toes, and they don't really know how to defend that stuff. It's really tough to keep up with it. And also another layer to this, Corey, is me ribbing that Florida fan yesterday on the live show when they commented about, why you guys need to pump the brakes. You're nowhere near as good as you think you are. You barely beat this team. You barely beat that team. And a fan actually chimed in, a Florida State fan was like, he's kind of actually right. And I don't think that's the case at all, man. No one really goes through a 14-game schedule and just zips off and rips off all these sort of wins. So, man, the fact of the matter, like this team, like, am I missing something here? Like, is there some obstacle that I'm not factoring in? Because, again, man, this team is going to be so incredibly difficult to defend. And now they got this quarterback that's playing at a high level, an extremely high level now. Now apparently he sees the entire field. He can tell every single position guy on the field where their responsibility is. Trey Benson 1 more year older and stronger and ready to go. This offensive line being that much more in tune. Johnny Wilson, another year of growth and development, and then whoever's going to fill in that another role. And at least tight ends, Corey, like, we've spoke about how good this offense can be. I'm not the guy that's ever going to get too ahead of my skis, Corey, but like they're gonna score 38 points a game at worst this year. I feel like. Are we seeing? Am I missing anything out there? What am I getting too ahead of myself? Because I'm not the homer, Corey. But like you hear the coaches pointing out the fact that, yeah, man, we're really multiple. Pick your poison. Good luck. Like when they're pretty much saying that, then what's to be afraid of?
Yeah, there isn't. I mean, look, I think the fear is that your offense is great except for 1 or 2 games, and you lose those, like NC State last year. I mean, the offense was really good all year except for most of the Wake Forest game and then all of the NC State game. Then after that, they were good again, but you lost both of those. So
and
that
the middle 12 versus Clemson was a little rough there. The last 6 minutes of the second quarter, first 6 minutes of the third.
Yeah. But overall, the offense was good against Clemson, especially considering the defense and that they were playing. And then they were good against everyone else. They were not good at all against Wake and NC State. And you just hope that they can avoid those kind of lulls where you go, I don't know, man, 4 or 5 straight drives without scoring. That cannot really happen.
Like, how will it?
I mean, look, things happen. People drop passes. A kid fumbles. I don't know. Things happen. But no, if you're just going on the totality of what this offense should be, and I just don't think it can be overstated what Jaheim Bell is. I think if you put Jaheim Bell on last year's offense, he is what, man? What would you say that's the third best player on the offense?
Yeah, behind Jordan and Trey, probably, right?
Or Jordan, Trey, and Johnny, but you might have said he was better on the whole for all 12 games in this capacity, the way I think they're going to use him, than even Johnny was last year.
Yeah.
I just don't think it can be overstated what he means. And I got that today watching. I mean, I'm not trying to give away state secrets. You're going to see it all on Saturday. He's not always lined up at tight end. He is a tough cover for Greedy Vance. And Greedy Vance is, I think, a good college cornerback. He runs with these guys, and he's so much bigger. He's athletic. He's agile. He's a enormous difference maker. And I just think you add him to what they already had. That's just an extra piece that we can't even quantify yet. So yeah, man, I think they should be better than they were last year on offense. And if they're better than they were last year on offense, that should result in at least one more win. And if you've got one more win, well, now you got 11 wins. They could be 13 wins. I don't know. But yeah, as long as they stay away from a horrible rash of injuries, this will be one of the best offenses in the United States, and that was played out no matter who was in front of them. Yeah, the defense struggled against Oklahoma and Florida. We get it. But the offense didn't, and the offense was good all year, and most of that offense is coming back, and the offense will be better. So You tell me right now you're going into 2023 with an offense that's capable of averaging 40 points a game. Yeah, you can beat everybody on your schedule, and you should win at least 10 or 11 games. So, yeah, all right, sure. They didn't play well against Florida and Oklahoma. The 5 before that, they beat the bejesus out of. Yeah. And a couple of those teams were bowl teams. They also beat LSU and beat them worse than I mean, I know it came down to an extra point, but they should have won that game by two touchdowns. Woulda, shoulda, I get it, but it wasn't like they were lucky to win that game. LSU was lucky to be in the game. And so, yeah, man, I like this team. I don't know if they're going to win a championship, but you look at what they run out on offense, and it's pretty remarkable. I mean, it's good. And even as Norvell said on Tuesday, they're a little limited right now with what they have at receiver. They're still going up and down the field. You know, and I shouldn't say that. I thought the defense, again, had a fine day. But they're still making plays. Kentron Portier is still out there making plays, trying to establish himself as a number 2 guy here. So, you know, I'm bullish. I like what I see. Oh, and I wanted to bring up one thing. I don't know if we're about to be done. I wrote about it, so go read it. But Jared Verse, I don't know if you saw this play. They threw a screen pass in 11-on-11 to Trey. Really well designed because most of them are. It was Trey Benson on the right side of the field. Travis dumps it off to him after letting the rush get to him. There's only one dude over there. Trey gets a block, goes through that. Shaheem Brown probably would have tackled him or at least slowed him down like 17 yards from the line of scrimmage, 15 yards. He got over there and like put the kind of like, you know, put the 2-hand touch on him.
Right.
Or at least broke down right in front of him like, hey, I'm here, the play's over. But Benson goes around him and starts running towards the end zone, and then all of a sudden, number 5 and Garnett is streaking from the other side of the field to race him to the end zone. And that's Jared Verse, who, again, again, I think Benson beats him in a race, but it's closer than it should be because that guy is a freakazoid. And just every now and again, it's something like that. Like this is April 13th?
Yeah.
Of a meaningless 11-on-11 rep, and the play had already been whistled dead, but he sees Benson running full speed, so he's running full speed to catch up with him from the other side of the field. And then obviously talking to him as they go back to the line of scrimmage, I'm sure telling him that he could beat him in a race. And then the next play, I think Jeremiah Byers handled Verse pretty well on 2 straight run plays. And then the next play is a pass play, and Verse sprints right around him for a sack. A few moments before that, he pushed Bless Harris into Travis's lap just on a bull rush. I mean, again, I think we need to factor in what this guy is at full speed, full capabilities, because we did not see that. We saw it, in the LSU game?
Yeah.
And he had 2 sacks and a blocked field goal. And then we didn't really see the real Jared Verse the rest of the year because he was dealing with the injury.
Yep.
I just think if he can stay healthy and upright, maybe 16 sacks, the guy that asked that question the other day, maybe that is legit because that was like a 10-minute window of chasing down an NFL back from across the field, sprinting around an NFL offensive lineman for a sack, and then bull rushing. I don't know if Bless Harris is going to play in the NFL, but he's a starter in college, bull rushing a starting offensive tackle into the quarterback in the span of like 7 minutes. I don't think sometimes we just, because we're used to it. It's him. He's here. It's Jared Verse. Yeah, we know he's good. Sometimes you just got to stop and appreciate it. And so that was a 7-minute window where I was like, man, yeah, this guy's legit. He is one of the best in the country.
That boy good. Yeah, and then just the one last thing to button up from talk about numbers. I think somebody asked about how many catches maybe the tight ends would make. They had, 40 last year, I think we counted up. And I asked Thompson about that. And to your point about them just smoking everybody, that 5-game stretch there before the Florida and Oklahoma games. I'm like, I know you don't think about it that way, but like, will they be more involved in the pass game? He's like, I don't really know. He's like, listen, he's like, we might just run the ball all the time. He's like, we ran the ball really well in a bunch of games, and we didn't have to throw it. So
yeah,
that kind of goes and speaks to the confidence, again, that he has when it comes to this offense. And, I mean, for me, too, just, last point, just listen, we've seen full-out practices now. We've seen not 13. We've seen 11 of them because 2 of them were scrimmages that we weren't able to see. 14 will be the spring showcase, and then I don't know how sort of, thorough they'll go Monday in terms of like a full-out practice because they're just going to kind of correct what they saw in the showcase. But I can only think of like one day, and I think it was when they were inside of Doak, where that first team offense or the whatever, when they go team tempo, 2-minute drill, and it's led by Jordan. That's the only time I can remember them going 3 and out. I mean, otherwise, And again, I'm not trying to make it sound like they're just this unstoppable force that's just going to score at will on teams. But, man, it's going to be so difficult to slow them down for 60 minutes. There was a moment I remember at practice, like on Tuesday this week, where I'm like, I wonder if they'll go, more than like 3 plays this season without like hitting like a 15-yard play. Like they feel that potent right now. And, again, they haven't really seen the full thrust of what this defense can be, so maybe I do need to pump the brakes a little bit. But it's just been a really fun spring, Corey. I just feel like we haven't had to worry about, selling false hope or like, we think they're going to be all right. It seems like, yeah, man, they legitimately are really good, and the coaches are kind of giving us some crumbs that leads us in that direction. So it's been exciting. We'll do one more of these after Saturday's game too.
That's right, man. That'll be, and I might disagree. I think they will go 3 plays without a 15-yard gain at some point in the season. Right. That would be an incredible feat.
When they're in the victory position, though,
Well, that's right. Yeah. Formation. Otherwise, they won't punt. They won't have to punt all year, gang. Yeah. Sorry, Alex. Go hit the portal, buddy. You're not needed. Yeah, man. It has been. Again, this is a talented football team, and it's cool. It's cool that we get to talk about something like this after what we had to talk about previously. And there's a lot of really good players all over the field. Looking at you, Fintrell. Come on, buddy. You too, my man. You too. But yeah, they got players everywhere at every level of the defense. Renardo Green, he's the best corner on the team right now. It's not close. He's good. He's a good football player. Deloach had almost a pick 6 in that practice on Thursday. You've got what's the beauty about it is you've got all the experience. It's not just talent, it's experienced talent. And no, this is not the 2013 team from a talent perspective. It just isn't. You're probably not going to have a Heisman Trophy winner. You might, I don't know. You're not going to have the number 1 pick in the draft. You're not. You just don't have maybe that. You don't have Jalen Ramsey on your team or a LaMarcus Joyner. But you've got a lot of really good football players that are very experienced, and you just hope they get some breaks because I think they're talented enough at so many different positions and with all that experience that if they get a break, if they have a lucky season, yeah, they can win it all. If they're unlucky, maybe 3 losses, but aside from injury luck. But if they're lucky, they've got enough pieces in place where they can challenge for a national championship. And that's a really cool place to be after where we were 2-3 years ago.
What would their record be if Brock Glenn started all their games this year?
It's a good question. Boy, man.
9-4?
No.
8-5?
I'd say 7-5.
Okay.
But it's a good question because I think Norvell would coach to what his quarterback is, and he would do a good job of scheming for his quarterback. But yeah, man, what would their record have been last year if if Brock Glenn was the quarterback? You know what I mean? I don't think they've made that big a jump.
That was me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be a jerk here, but I just want to come back to earth. We're talking about him like he's really awesome. It's like, all right, let's give him some time. He's looking really good. We're grading on a curve with him. He looks really good. Just wanted to go back to that. All right, don't forget, $10 for 4 months of full premium access to warchant.com. I think it ends this weekend. It's right on the front page. Just click on it. No promo code needed. Do it. Thank you for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill.